here we are. We are at the halfway point with season 3 of Highlander the series. We've got, of course, Adrian Paul as Duncan MacLeod, Stan Kirsch as Richie Ryan, Philip Aiken for a little bit of season 3 here. He's Charlie DeSalvo, Lisa Howard as Anne Lindsay, and of course Jim Burns as Joan Dawson. They're all the main cast. And I just want to say, I really enjoyed season 3. I probably enjoyed it about as much as season 2, but there is some frustration involved here. Because for the first half of season 3, it's pretty much all standalones. And it lacks direction, I feel like, for a lot of the modern day stuff. That's different when it comes to the flashbacks. Because it's season 3, and this is a trend that starts with episode 1 of season 3, where they start to kind of piece together the various flashbacks and things. And so you're like, oh, the first 2 seasons, it felt like, all right, now he's got a flashback from here, now he's got a flashback from there. Well, in season 3, they'll put a flashback in between those two and go, oh, well, he was here, then he was here, then he was here. So they're putting his life in an order, and it's something that's awesome to behold. The first episode of season 3, you find out how we got his samurai sword, which is awesome. There's going to be some mild spoilers. Actually, there might be some big spoilers, I guess, for season 3 coming up here. I want to say that the quality of the stories is probably the best they've ever had. I was doing my bottom 5 episodes. I only come up with like 3 stinkers. And considering there's 22 episodes in season 3, 3 stinkers that's pretty good. It's not too bad. It's not perfect though. So I watched this on Amazon Prime, and for some reason the theme tune for season 3 has Tessa in it, Alexandra Vandernoot, the whole time. She's not in season 3, and that's a mistake for the entire season. Like, no one could fix that up? Yeah, that was weird. Also, it's your 3rd season, so I thought some questions might start being answered. Like, how many immortals are there? If there can be only one, why do new immortals keep popping up? Like Richie's a pretty new immortal. He just popped up in season 2 as an immortal. In season 3, we get this 18-year-old girl who dies and then obviously comes back to life as an immortal. So we're developing new immortals, but I thought there could be only one. How can there be only one if new ones keep popping up? And the power of the quickening. What does it mean when you get the power of the quickening? You get powerful, more stronger. How exactly? Obviously, do you absorb their memories? Because we never get an indication of that. Do you absorb their skills when you get the quickening? Because you don't really see any indications of that either. I need a more defined thing of like what this quickening is. Because when Darius got killed at the end of season 1, everyone was just like, oh, the quickening has been wasted. All those memories and experiences are gone. Well, we haven't got any idea that, because Richie's cut off 2 immortals' heads by now, by the end of season 3. 1 in season 2, 1 in season 3. He still seems like good old dum-dum Richie Ryan. So yeah, I want some questions to be answered. And that's another frustrating thing. Like, there's no direction for this season, at least for the first half of it. So I'm like, And then they're not answering any questions either, except for what was Duncan's past like, what's the timeline exactly. So they're building that up. Now, Philip Aiken, who plays Charlie DeSalvo, leaves in the 3rd episode, and that's fine. At least he doesn't die, so that's something. Maybe he'll turn up in the future. I don't know. These aren't retrospective reviews in the sense of, I loved this show, and now I'm coming back to rewatch them. I've never seen this series, in case people are just tuning in for the season 3 review. Never seen these before, so I don't know what's coming in the future. But he leaves pretty early on, and we also get a new love interest, Anne Lindsay, played by Lisa Howard. And I liked her character a lot, except as a love interest, a doctor. She plays a doctor, and it doesn't make any sense that she would stay with Duncan. Now, for most of the season, she doesn't know who he is exactly. She knows there's something, but doesn't know about immortals and things like that. And when she finds out, she's pretty much gone an episode or 2 later, because I'm like, well, this doctor's supposed to heal people. Don't think she's going to want to be in a relationship with a guy who has to chop people's heads off. And that's pretty much the reason why she leaves. So, yeah, I liked their relationship and all that, but yeah, as soon as she found out, I knew it wasn't going to last long, and it didn't. Now, the second half of season 3, that's when things start getting interesting. Now, I haven't been bored by the first half of season 3. In fact, it's not even the first half. This is like episode 14. This is after the halfway point, where we introduced the season's big bad, which is an immortal named Callus, a old immortal that Duncan met in a monastery in the 17th century, and who has this amazing singing voice and is a good forger and things like that. And in fact, in modern days, he sounds like Tom Waits, but in the flashbacks, he's got this big, boom and beautiful voice. His storyline is awesome. You find out why he hates Duncan, why he's going after Duncan. It's incredible stuff. And they raise the stakes because here's some spoilers here. We finally get the return of Roger Daltrey as Fitzcan, and Callus takes his head. So you just know that Callus is not going to be one to trifle with. He's going to kill some people. So I was like, damn, I really like Fitzcan. I guess you can bring him back in flashbacks and things, but yeah, modern day Fitzcan is gone. And then that story arc, after a couple episodes, just stops because Callus gets put into jail, and then he escapes towards the end. But we also get the introduction of an immortal named Mythos. He's the oldest immortal on the planet. It's like over 5,000 years old and things like that. He's a fascinating character, and I wanted more of him, so I'm glad we didn't get too much. I guess they're going to tease that out as the series progresses, but what we've been teased with so far with Mythos is fantastic and really fascinating. Now, then after the initial parts of that arc, we get more standalones, then we finish the story arc. And the thing is, the quality of the episode is great. I don't know why I'm complaining, but I just wish it was more than just standalones for the majority of the season. We're in 1995 now, story arcs are a bit of a thing, it's starting to be. Come on, give me some more. So, whilst the quality of the episode is better, there are a couple stinkers, so I'll get onto those before we finish with some good stuff, which is my favourite episodes of the season. It's not going to be any surprise to anyone who's heard the first 7 or 8 minutes of this review what my favourite kind of episodes for season 3 are going to be. But here we go. My stinkers. One is Rites of Passage. This 18-year-old girl has an argument with her parents, goes driving off, drives over a cliff, wakes up as a bratty young immortal that just annoyed the hell out of me for all 48 minutes of it. So Rite of Passage, did not like at all. Then we've got Obsession, which is another immortal stalker story. We've done that at least once or twice before, and I didn't like it those times either. This is probably the worst of the lot, so no thank you. And then we've got this really convoluted story that is the exit for Charlie DeSalvo, and it's called The Revolutionary. I didn't quite like this one. It felt a bit messy, not very clear. Or maybe I just wasn't paying attention because I was bored. I don't know. It's not a favourite of mine. So let's go for some best honourable mentions. And we start off with Courage, which has a fascinating kind of angle to it. This immortal in the story is a drug addict. And he likes to forget, likes to, move past all of his immortalness and stuff. And the reason is because he's become very fearful of losing his head. The reason being is because he would boast of being the best swordsman, and he'd taken so many heads and stuff and he was so good that everyone who wanted to win the game would challenge him. And he just got so sick of being challenged because he'd be challenged so often that sooner or later someone's going to cut off his head and take him out. So he just got pissed scared of that and lost his nerve. Awesome episode, great angle, like the flashbacks, but the modern day stuff was great too. And also, I just want to point out, they don't call it The Gathering anymore. I've never even heard the word gathering in this season. Not much in season 2 either. It's just the game now. So it's the game. A game that can't end because new immortals keep popping up. Another honourable mention is a late season 3 episode called Mortal Sins. And you find out that Duncan MacLeod was part of the French resistance in World War II, which is awesome. And he helps this little boy out who knows who he is. And he also knows who the evil immortal in that episode is. He was a Nazi, and obviously he doesn't age because he bumps into the Nazi again in modern day. He's an old priest now, and he's like, oh man, I gotta go find Duncan to help me out here. And he does. This is the episode also that has the exit of Anne Lindsay, because she's just like, oh, you gotta kill this Nazi motherfucker right here. So he does, and then she's like, I can't stay with you. Yep, I saw that coming. Apart from that, that's an awesome episode as well. And here we are, my top 5. Song of the Executioner. Callus is introduced, not just in terms of modern day. He's setting up Anne Lindsay here. He's also setting up Joe Dawson, the Watcher, just to try to get them out of the way and mess them up because he wants to hurt Duncan. And then you see the awesome flashbacks where Duncan and Callus are in a monastery and how that happens. So immortals will come to the monastery because it's holy ground. Not allowed to play the game on holy ground. So what happens is immortals will come to the monastery, stay for a while, and Callus will be like, hey, let's go. I'll escort you off the grounds. As soon as they're off the grounds, and Duncan catches him, and so does the monk in charge of the place, so he gets thrown out. There's a reason to hate Duncan right there, and those kinds of build from that, which is fantastic. Then you got the next episode, Star-Crossed, which is a continuation of Song of the Executioner. It gives us the return of Fitzcan, and it ends between a battle between Fitzcan and Callus, and I'm just like, no. But we also find out more about why modern day Callus sounds like Tom Waits. Immortals heal, and they don't often scar. Now, Xavier St. Cloud lost a hand in season 1. The Kurgan in Highlander, the original, got his throat slashed by Ramirez, so he's always got the scar there. And now you've got Callus. So sometimes they heal, sometimes they don't. I don't quite know why. I guess the head injuries the throat neck injuries make more sense because you chop off a Highlander, an immortal's head, they die. So yes, I love those 2 episodes. Then we've got another one I think that continues on. It's called Mythos, and it's the introduction to the oldest immortal. I really loved it. Callus goes after him. The kind of setup and conclusion of that is great. And as soon as that episode ended, I was like, oh, I hope we see Mythos again. He was fantastic. And then, as no surprise, the rest of the top 5 are finale, parts 1 and 2. You got kind of 2 kind of stories going on, and they all both intertwine towards the end. You've got the epic ending between Callus and Duncan MacLeod, where they fight on top of the Eiffel Tower with the greatest quickening I have ever seen in the show's history. It is awesome. Then you've got this thing about this Watcher dies, and his wife wants to expose Watchers and immortals, and almost succeeds in doing so, which would have changed things forever, which it doesn't quite happen, but the way that's set up is also really good. You know it's epic because you've got Roland Gift coming back in a flashback. Always thought that Duncan had never met Xavier St. Cloud before, so this is a little slight retcon here, but I don't care. You've got Callus, Amanda, Mythos, Xavier St. Cloud in flashback form, immortals and Watchers potentially being exposed, and all this kind of stuff. This is high stakes stuff. This could have been the ending of the series. That's how epic and awesome this was. So yeah, it felt like this could have been a farewell to the show if they hadn't gone for a season 4. I'm glad they have. So yeah, I really enjoyed my time with season 3. It is a mixed. I'm not mixed on it in terms of the story quality. I just wish they maybe interspersed the Callus stuff earlier on from the season and just intermingled it from there. But instead, just felt very standalone-ish and stuff like that. Now, so yeah, I'm going to give it the same score as season 2. It's a 7. it has the highest of the highs. It has some of the best episodes of the series. Like, I think my favorite 2 episodes of the whole show, right up to this point, are finale parts 1 and 2. The final 2 episodes of season 3. Mwah. Fantastic. And I'm interested to see where they go from there. So I haven't started season 4 yet. I'm going to be annoyed if it's like majority standalones for the first half. Then they're like, oh, maybe we should have a story arc. Maybe intermix it a little better. I don't know. But it is old TV. Old TV basically rarely did story arcs of any kind. And if they did, it was only for 2-part stories or something like that. So, I know. I don't know. I guess it's just my modern brain wishing an old show would do things modern shows do. And I can't really fault it for that. So 7 out of 10. Whew. For those interested, yes, there will be a movie review coming out very soon. Just like all that crap. Yeah. Whew. There can be only 3 seasons left.